What's going on, guys? And I'm trying to tell you all that presidential shit that's going to the election, that's going to cause a lot of bad shit. Nobody will listen. Last night, after the debate, I went around looking just to see what people were saying. I seen Pedro was live, right? He was on his Reacts channel. And now he was doing one of the vertical ones, so some of the names in there I didn't see, but I was like, I'll stop in there real quick, and I was just going to jokingly fuck with him, you know what I mean? And I had said a few things, and it was all good at first, but then you start reading the comments. I mean, some of the shit that people was saying to him, I mean, a lot of them were probably just trolls, because like I said, he was doing a vertical. So, but some of them wasn't. Some of the names you could recognize, and you could see that they were just people. And it's, usually if you're trying to argue a side of an argument, and you have to resort to name calling and calling people like the names they were calling him last night, that kind of shows that, you don't have an answer to the question they're asking. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, no, he calls people sheep, he called people idiots. And I know, that's why I went in there to, kind of, fuck with him with that. But there was people going further than that. I mean, the debate thing, I mean, no matter which side you're on, I mean, anybody can watch that and see how, stacked that was just by the, some people, of course, if you're on, on the left side, you're like, no, it was fair, it was fair. That's like, since 2012, this is a fact. Since 2012, there's not really been an entirely fair election. The reason that is because of search engines. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, that don't happen. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Look at people that's retired from them or used to work for them, whistleblowers. They've all admitted that, they tweak them searches. I mean, and it's not crazy to believe that, because if you had an argument about anything and you was trying to make people see your side of it, and you could control what they see, like how far up on a list something would be, you might say, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. No, yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. I mean, you couldn't help it. I mean, because if you're arguing to one side of the argument, you're going to want people to see what you're seeing, your side. So you're going to make sure they see your part. So when people do that, though, that kind of takes the fairness out of stuff, because if you're looking for a certain thing, like back before, like search engines started doing, like 2012 is when they figure it kind of started. But if you go back before that, like if people wanted to know something, they had to go to a library, they had to, actively look up that information. Even online, you had to go to look up that information, and keywords is what would pull up the searches, and somewhat still does, but now it's like they can pick what goes where on which keywords. But see, back then you'd have to see it all, but now you can let people see what you want them to see. So, but anyway, like I said, the some people was saying, like, this is where it shows how people don't even, think shit through. Because a lot of people are saying, like, oh, well, look, they asked him a simple question. Do you want, Ukraine or Russia? Do you want Ukraine to win the war? And he wouldn't even answer that question. That makes, I mean, he literally said it. He said he wants the war to be over. And by saying that, even if he was Ukraine, or if he said that, okay, if he's thinking like, okay, I might have to negotiate with Vladimir Putin, why in the hell would he sit there and say something like, yeah, I hope Ukraine whoops Russia's ass? That's going to make it a little hard to negotiate. See, what people forget is nuclear war is a real possibility for a lot of these countries, because some of these leaders, they're dictators, like North Korea, China, Russia. The leaders think that they are like divine beings, especially North Korea, but in China in a way. But Putin, he's just a dictator. But if it came down to it, I mean, go back to look at, like, say, Saddam Hussein when Iraq fell. He was out hiding, he was doing everything. Now, if America did get involved in the war, they joined Ukraine. Well, if somebody said that Russia was committing war crimes and they were doing it, they're going to have a tribunal. So, Putin would know that wasn't going to end well for him. He's seen what happened to Saddam. So, put yourself in that place. If you knew if you got captured, ultimately you're going to be executed, right? So why, I mean, if you think like those people do, they don't care about humanity, they just care about themselves. Well, shit, they'll launch, a nuclear war ain't shit to them. They don't give a fuck. If they're going to, they're getting captured and dying anyway, so, they don't care to take everybody with them. And you might say, like, well, we got, like, Star Wars, not the movie, the space thing, right? A lot of people talk about, like, all our missile defense, they couldn't even, if they launched a nuke, they couldn't even hit us. Look at this. Go back and look at, like, old documentaries on on like History Channel and Nat Geo, a lot of them, or just even government sites. And look at the Secret Service. If you would have said just, even a year ago, or shit, even 6 months ago, if you was talking about the Secret Service, you would think they were this elite group that nobody could penetrate. But look at the documentaries, you'll see them. They show like they don't miss anything. A certain look on someone's face, they catch it instantly. And you see that and you're like, oh shit. But then you start to think about it. It's like, a guy walked right in the front door of the White House with a knife. That was a while back. He walked right up in there. Then there was another person that went and stayed overnight in the Secret Service, their headquarters, stayed 24 hours in there. You can look up that video. Then again, you have what happened to Trump. So now think about that. Now think about our missile defense system. Go look at the documentaries about that. It's showing like, how the Star Wars, but you got to admit, this was started like in the 70s. So, and I'm sure they updated, but, if you look, Russia's got more nuclear warheads than we do. They might not have the technology, they might not have, we don't know. But if you look at the documentaries about like our missile defense, you'll see like, oh, we'd knock them down before they ever got, but also we're supposed to be able to stop, assassination attempts. But you see how that went. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, for people like saying, oh, Trump should have just said he was for Ukraine or anything, it's stupid to do that. It's stupid to, like, if you're going to negotiate with two people and try to get them to come to terms and have a peace agreement, why would you piss off one side and come at them like they're fucking, an evil person and calling this and that out? Try peace first. And if peace don't work, you might say, well, it's not working. They never tried. I mean, look at that. Her big fucking thing was she went 3 days before the war started and she shared all kinds of intel. She shared all kinds of this. You got to remember, last night was probably the most watched anything on TV or anything anywhere way more than the Super Bowl, I bet. I mean, worldwide. You had Putin watching that, Zelensky, you had fucking, Ping, all of them was fucking watching that. So, what they're saying, they got to be careful. When she's sitting there saying the stuff she is about, oh, we gave all this, we gave them intel, which, it would be known. I mean, it's probably, they already know that. But by saying that, you're already saying, like, fuck Russia. So that puts them at a disadvantage if they have to go in and negotiate with that. But I'm just saying right now, it's like the politics thing. It's when people have to resort to like name calling and, it's said that, neither side cares about us and all like this shit. And that's true. I mean, neither politician really gives a shit about, about us. But policy matters. The presidents, the policies matter. So you can look back. Any gig worker, they'll know what I'm talking about here. You look back, when Trump was in office, our gas was better. Our labor. See here, not just, Springfield, Ohio, you all have seen that. That's 38 miles from where I'm at. That's 38 miles. I've Uber and Lyfted there before several times, to and from and around. But nice little town. It's like a little smaller town. They say it, 60. I think it's 56,000 is the population. But now they have over 20,000 immigrants. Now, a lot of people might say, well, yeah, but who cares? Immigrate. It's always been like that. But look what's going on. Then, you even seen during the debate, they said, when Trump brought that up, they said, oh, that's not happening. We talked to the town manager or whatever. No, you didn't. Because if you did, there's body cam footage of the cat incident. There's 911 calls of the geese thing. That's what I'm talking about, where, there is no fair elections no more. It's like whatever nation you're doing, whatever station you're doing the debate on, whichever side they're going to lean to, they're going to lean that way. And it's very noticeable to all, especially like the middle and the other side. Now, the one side might say, oh, no, that's, that was fair. That was really fair. Well, you're crazy as hell if you think that. You're very, very biased if you think that. But point of being is, like I said, the gig workers here used to, about 2.5, 3 years ago, pull right on in front of you, motherfucker. That's a fucking chick. Anyway, but used to, and see, that's another thing. If we say something like, well, they don't speak English, they don't do this. Oh my God, you're racist. So you can't even call out the truth no more without people, throwing them words around, trying to say like we're racist for pointing this out. But, and like I said, all the immigrants I've met, like the one I talked to, was doing Uber that day in Meyer, then, he told me how it worked. He took the phone back every night. The guy gave him cash. Damn good people. I've never, they've all been, nice people. But that being said, illegal immigration doesn't hurt just us, the Americans. It also hurts the illegal immigrants. Like that guy. he can't work legally because he has to get in. I think he said two brothers had them phones, and they pick them up there. And even if they don't have a car, now this guy had a car, I think, but he said if you don't have a car, they'll give you the car, and you go out and you take every fucking order, and when you at the end of the day, you go back to them, you give them back the phone and stuff, and they give you cash. I don't know if it's a percent or what, but if you go back 3 years ago, it was a whole different landscape here. Now you go in and like it's, the restaurant employees, you got people just sticking the phone in their face and they're like, here for this. And if they say, hey, can you call the customer because we're out of this or that, they have no idea what they're, and I've done that several times. Motherfuckers go, but I've done it several times where I've called the customers, and helped them out. And, it's like, I don't care to do that, but you see my point on that. It's hurting those people too, because they're not even getting it's hurting the customer too, because how many customers have you talked to? Think about that. How many customers have you talked to, and they'll say something like, oh, I tried to and I couldn't get them to understand this. They wouldn't even call me back, or when I did call them, they didn't speak no English. I couldn't understand nothing. They're all mad about it, and you can understand that. And it's not racist or xenophobic to say that if somebody's working somewhere that everybody speaks English and you're on an app, that the customers, they're ordering in English and they don't speak a different language, the person that's bringing it to them, they should at least speak, be able to be fluent enough to get the job done. That's the point. They gig companies, they love this shit, because for gig companies, they're just making more and more money. They don't because like I said, they take every order. They do not care. That guy was supposed to take every order. The only thing he was worried about that day is he didn't have the Uber card, and he had accepted it, and I had to help him cancel the order. You could see that kind of fear in his eyes, like he might, I don't know, maybe get in trouble for it or something. He couldn't call Uber because you couldn't verify who he was. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm just saying we shouldn't let politics and truth and stuff we see with our own eyes separate us and make us argue with each other. I mean, we're arguing about millionaires. We're saying, which millionaire do you choose, which millionaire this, and they could give two shits less about us. But like I said, their policies do matter. You just need to really think, where was you at this time? And there's gonna be different people, people who's maybe got a little bit more money and they don't see that side of it, and they're not gonna be like, oh, it's about the same, I don't care. Because some people don't care that shit goes up a lot. They don't care that milk, eggs, and shit is doubled, tripled. It doesn't affect them. They can see it, but they just, they don't care because they can afford it. It's the people who can't. I mean, it's like, all these little towns that said that they were sanctuary cities, and next thing you know, now they're changing their mind because they've seen it. Everything sounds good. It's like, the $50,000 small business tax credit thing she's talking about. All of that sounds great. They've always said that, but it never happens because that money's got to come from somewhere. If they do it, they've got to cut it from somewhere, or we got to raise, that money's not free. Money's not free. But I'm just saying, people should be able to talk shit out without name calling and attacking each other, and have maybe debate stuff without having actual facts, instead of just like, if you get backed in a corner, you just start calling people names or talking about the way they look and shit. Like I said, some of the things people were saying to Pedro yesterday, I mean, it was sad to see. It's like, Jesus Christ, even though me and him don't agree politically, I still, I have nothing against the guy. I'm gonna drop this shit off. I guess nobody can go fuck themselves today. I mean, nothing really is going on. Y'all have a good one.